So we have a car coming up from behind, approaching a corner. We're in a good position, trying to deter the overtake. Just as well, the car is just about to pass. And there they go. We're going to move left a bit, they're passing close. Another car moving left a bit. That first vehicle passed too close, but because I can see them coming, just moved a little bit left. I anticipated they were going to overtake because I could see the way ahead was clear, and as they did pass close, I moved left. Just let them get on with it. Of course, the key thing in that situation is to make sure you're out far enough to make the car, lorry, van, whatever it is, there's another one, just so that they have to go further out. And as soon as they're further out, you can move left and create more space between you and them. You can see two vehicles approaching. Unconscious. I'm heading towards the corner, so I'm right in a good position to deter any potential overtakes. But if they do overtake, I've got space to move left. So you can help keep yourself safe by using road position. The lorry coming ahead. Got about 4 or 5 cars behind now. And the most immediate car behind me is actually giving quite a bit of space. Realistically, these cars are going to be stuck behind me as I go through the next village. Good thing is I'm doing 20 miles an hour and it's now a 20 mile an hour zone, so there's no reason for anybody to overtake me at this point. Not going to say that anybody won't try, there's no reason to. So hopefully that car will overtake now. There we go. Car coming, so I'm going to come back out a bit. A couple of cars coming. What I don't want to be doing is holding people up unnecessarily. Right, another safe overtake. Thank you. And one more. And I'm out of the bike. Happy days. That is everybody passed safely. That's an important part of being a safe but also considerate road user, is to actively plan, try and get vehicles behind in front so that you're not causing congestion yourself, especially in the countryside where I generally ride. It's also part of the highway code. That says you shouldn't hold up past the vehicles. And so recently I didn't actually think that applied to cyclists, but if you look at the context of it, if you're holding up a long line of traffic, then the rules do apply. But the other aspect is, I'm cycling generally in the community where I live, and as part of that community I want to be respectful to the other people who live here, as much as I hope to get respect from them when I'm travelling on the roads. So approaching a brow come corner, so I'm riding out to deter silver car behind from overtaking. Again, if they still choose to overtake, I can move left. I'm presently climbing up a hill at 10 miles an hour. That car behind seems to have stopped. Very strange. Slightly perplexed how, when I was coming up there at 10 miles an hour, how those cars managed to drop back so far. I'm hoping they're going to overtake now. There we go. Learner driver. Maybe that was something to do with it. Lovely. Thank you. As I ride along this road, just conscious what other road users are doing, especially the guys who are about to overtake me. And I'm already planning ahead to turn right, so I'm looking at a safe opportunity to indicate right. What I'm going to do now, move over. Happy days. Another aspect of safer cycling is always planning ahead, thinking ahead. And another big part is communicating with other road users. See a lot of vloggers complain about how drivers don't use their indicators enough or early enough, and see quite a few videos by these same vloggers where they condone cyclists not indicating very well. So good communication is a real key to safe cycling. It's also good communication and working with other road users helps build that good rapport between cyclists and motorists. If you're aggressive towards motorists, you're probably just winding them up and causing a really bad attitude towards other cyclists. So yeah, personally, I recommend working well with other road users. So I've got one car behind, I'm just going to let them go first. Yeah, they weren't keen to go first, but I'm just about to go up a hill and it's only us and them. Although I've now got another car, but they're just going to have to wait. It's pointless me just letting that car in front sit, or always behind sit, as I go through this section at 16 miles an hour, and as I start to climb, that speed's just going to drop down and down and down. The car behind behaving very well. As we got out, I moved a little bit left, just indicates safe to pass. I'm getting conscious. There's a car with, or vehicle with lights approaching from behind. I'm conscious that I'm heading towards a hill with a bend, but they're gonna, alright, car coming. So I'm approaching right hill and a corner, car behind, so I'm riding out to deter, and it's going to go past. Next car goes past tighter, third car, absolutely fine. What I find is I don't let myself get wound up when I'm doing 12 miles an hour. Someone overtake where it shouldn't. What I do is I keep an eye out ahead so that if something did start to come I could warn them. And also I always leave space on my left to move into if I need to. Adjust my speed if I need to. There's no point having a car trying to overtake and then riding and particularly speeding up. Highway code, as much as it says that cars shouldn't overtake or vehicles shouldn't overtake, they're going to force another road user to slow down. Equally, the highway code says to road users that never obstruct someone who's passing, slowing down if necessary. Always a plan B with the highway code, which is something I really like about it. Of course, a lot of vloggers concentrate on the actions of the drivers, which is actually the person they can't control, rather than considering the actions of what they can do themselves. So from that point of view, I'd rather concentrate on the rules I can follow, because I can physically actually do something about that, rather than complaining about the rules of motorists that they're not following, because I can't jump in their car and turn their steering wheel or hit their brakes or what have you, or change their mind even talking to them. A lot of people are so entrenched in their ideas, like we all are, they're just not going to change those people's minds. Also, getting into arguments with drivers whilst you're moving, in my opinion, is as dangerous as someone using a mobile phone. They're getting distracted by you, you're distracting yourself, and again, I have seen vloggers having arguments, and which has resulted in car crashes, which if it was me, I'd feel quite guilty of being part of that. Again, communicating, indicating to the car behind. Going down through town now, so just going to be conscious of pedestrians going to be riding central. So if anybody does go to step off, there's a good foot either side. I'll do that without tangled up. Oh, fuck. It's a really interesting bit of a cycling infrastructure here. Never gives you enough time to actually cycle up through before the lights change the other direction. Yeah, what was looking at nice sunny days, looking like we might pour down. So I might well regret packing a showerproof rather than a full waterproof, but never mind. Okay, so just approach a junction and try and deter this car from overtaking. Yep, absolutely fine. So I moved left to allow the car pass, then moved right because of the parked car on the right hand side. Should think twice. Yeah. Safe to go now. Move left a bit. As well as cars behind turning left behind me, as as well as watching the cars ahead, I'm watching what's happening behind, just so I can sort of plan ahead to where I actually want them to pass me. Sometimes you've got no choice. Some drivers will squeeze past, but if you're giving yourself space on the left, you can always move left into that space. So just regularly checking my mirror and thinking ahead, where do I want this person to pass me safely? So I'm approaching their brow, going to ride out a little bit, park cars on the right, I'll make the car behind think twice. Where they're going to go, so I'm going to stop pedalling, move left. They force the oncoming car to slow. Conscious of all these cars passing. Now I'm going to indicate right, just shoulder check. Indicate right, another shoulder check. And one last shoulder check before turning. So as much as I use the mirror, I don't solely rely on a mirror, I use shoulder checks as well. Cliff now. I had to turn on, didn't I? Hopefully I'll overtake. Shoulder checks, I'm out of the saddle. Safe pass. So this is actually my preferred route home compared to the main road which I come in on. By going this way around, I get a climb in, which I like, a bit of a challenge of a climb, but also travelling the other direction, it's a slight incline on a main road, and at slower speeds you feel much more vulnerable on the country roads to cars, especially narrow country roads. So I tend to plan my routes very well, conscious not only of the roads I'm travelling, but also the incline. If it's a descent on a main road, it's absolutely fine. Doing 25-30 miles an hour, it's quite easy to use good road positioning. But when you're on 10 miles and below, it's not so easy to actually control the traffic behind you. You're more of a sitting duck. So that I can enjoy my ride more, I prefer to look for friendlier routes, cycle-friendly routes, which not only improves my safety, but it also makes it more enjoyable. You never know whether the next car coming is going to be a responsible driver or an educated driver who will pass at a sensible speed and a sensible distance. Interestingly, I'm having a conversation with a vlogger recently who rides in London about appropriate speed and that, and personally I felt their speed and attitude towards pedestrians was rather bad, if not dangerous, and their reply was that they hadn't hit anybody or caused a collision, so therefore it was fine. Well, it's not an excuse any of us cyclists would take from a driver who passes close, blasts their horn at you. I use one of those horns with the buzzers. So I don't think we'd find it acceptable as cyclists if motorists passed us close, blasted their horn, and basically told us to get out of the way, and then used the argument, well, I didn't hit you, therefore making it safe. Then I don't see why pedestrians should put up with that same sort of attitude that we as cyclists detest ourselves. Yes, in a lot of the incidents that the gentleman showed in his video was pedestrians crossing poorly, but they do. And as a road user, along with our rights to be on the road, we have those responsibilities to be responsible around fellow road users such as pedestrians. Another thing to remember with pedestrians is actually some may be intoxicated, some may be young children, some may be old, making them even more particularly vulnerable, and again, hassling such members of the community across the road isn't acceptable in my book. If you want respect, you've also got to show that you can be respectful yourself. So that's my little rant. Also takes the mind off of climbing up this little hill. So yeah, if you maybe it's just going to be a little video of me talking. So comments please. Do you think it's acceptable for cyclists to carry on at whatever speed they like past pedestrians? Even if the lights have gone green, and the highway code says only proceed if the way is clear. So if people are still crossing, regardless of whether they should have done, do you think it's acceptable to cycle straight towards them, blast their horn, tell them to get out of the way? Personally, I say no. I'd like to hear your comments. Okay, on a side note, just turning off what was the quiet country lane, but that does get used quite a bit. Moving on to a even more quieter lane. The main reason I do this is A, I've got the time, and B, is it will effectively make me miss a short, sharp hill section that's very narrow, where you potentially get close past because it's that narrow through that part. So by choosing this route, which probably adds short distance onto my journey, but again, I've actually come out you know, for a cycle ride to enjoy cycling, whilst also making it a worthwhile trip to the supermarket to pick up something for tea while I'm out. A little bit extra weight to make my training a little bit harder. Given I got a £28 bike, well, £28 plus, must be more than that, must be near £30, and I put a pannier rack on there. It's not really going to make much difference. So yeah, the main reason I choose this route is it's mainly traffic free, and again, going back to the vloggers who argue you don't cycle in the city, you don't cycle in London, blah 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 blah. There's so many more routes to choose from in a town or a city than there is in the countryside. If you have a look at the little overlay I'm going to do, so I'll just stop talking a second. Yeah, so if you have a look at those overlays, notice mile per mile how much more choice of route you have in a city compared to the countryside. Maybe the next few days I'm going to do my ride to work. Again, compared to the city, I cycle to work because I want to, not because it's quicker by bike. In fact, it's considerably slower by bike, especially by the time you put on getting a bit of cycling kit on to stay dry in the bad weather, getting my bike out of the shed, yada yada yada, making sure I'm all prepared, making sure my lights are all charged. Surprisingly, a lot longer and more effort into cycling, not just physically, than it is for people like myself who are keen cyclists and who like to cycle for pleasure. In fact, one of the reasons I changed my job earlier this year was to enable me to cycle to work, so I could get that regular ride, which I can fit in around family life, because I'm sure there's many cyclists out there with families and whose wives or partners work, and trying to fit school run around work and being able to still commute by bike makes it pretty tricky. So yeah, probably one of the few people who, one of the reasons I changed my job is to work somewhere where I could actually cycle. Interestingly, recently they were doing a carbon footprint for the company, and they wanted to know what car I drove, and I gave them the car, which is not the most fuel efficient of cars, but they then had to know, well, I generally don't drive, probably once a month if I'm running late or feeling a little bit under the weather, or even you get out, you've got a mechanical on the bike and you've got time to fix it before you go. So apart from that, you know, I much prefer to cycle. It's good for the mind, body and soul, I'd say. Makes you think about life, makes you unwind from work, makes you feel fresh when you get to work. So yeah, there's a lot to be said about cycling, not just the fuel costs. Like I said, not really adding to congestion, but yeah, there's a lot to be said for it, for your mental health as much as your physical health. Let's go start this car come in. Again, it's about sharing the road, and as much as I slowed for that chap to pass, equal number of times motorists slow and let me pass. And you might notice since I turned off, that's the only car I've seen on this country lane. Now, if I chose to go back on the road I cycled in, I'd have a lot more cars passing me, and I'd probably be concentrating a lot. Well, I would be concentrating a lot more what's going on around me than I have to do now. And relax a little bit more. You know, generally I can hear vehicles approaching, which makes it a lot nicer. When travelling on the roads, whether it be by car or by bike or motorbike, or whatever form of transport you like, it should be an enjoyable experience, rather than getting wound up about what somebody else is doing. I prefer to just concentrate on being the bigger person, the better person, reacting sensibly and safely to bad situations. Also not putting myself in those bad situations in the first place. Another vlogger who I said recently, it's quite a while ago, criticised that they undertook a left indicating vehicle, and again, whilst the car should give way, I'm never going to assume that that car has seen me in the first place. I think there was a very good Cycle Gaz video recently where a car was indicating to turn across the cycle lane. He waited, Gaz slowed down. They actually both followed the rules that apply for Gaz's do not indicate, left indicating a vehicle at a junction, which he didn't. And for the driver, it was don't turn across the cycle path. So, you know, it only takes one person to follow the rules to make someone safe. If you think about it, you know, with that rule, you know, you see an indicating vehicle, great if they stop, which they should, to let you pass, but what harm does it do to slow down and just check that they are letting you pass in the first place? You know, well, that's just common sense to me, is to slow down and check, not just spout off, you have priority. The highway code does not give you right of way in any circumstances, written right at the start of the highway code. So yeah, so spouting off about priority, in my opinion, is BS. The highway code also says give way if you can avoid an incident. So, you know, concentrate on the rules that you can do to keep yourself safe, because ultimately that's the only ones you can actually affect, isn't it? I can steer my bike, I can operate the brakes, speed up, slow down, I can be aware of what's happening around me. The vehicle being driven by a complete stranger who I have no idea about their opinion of cyclists. I don't know any idea of their awareness of cyclists. I don't know how many years they've been driving. I don't know whether they're been drinking or on drugs or on their phone. You know, there's so many things about that driver that you could potentially undertake whilst indicating. I'm never going to assume that they've seen me. Never in a million days. I will, upon seeing that hazard, I'll slow down and wait. And great if they actually see me and it's 100% obvious that you can go, you know, but if not, hang back, let them go first, keep yourself safe. It's not rocket science. I mean, ironically, a lot of the vloggers' videos I comment on, they complain that I'm anti-cyclist, they complain I'm subservient, yet I'm not the person having all these incidents with other vehicles. A bit like the vlogger I was talking about regarding the pedestrians. He's made a video, or made several videos, about near misses with pedestrians. Well, personally, and whilst sometimes you can't avoid them standing out, you can be much more proactive at keeping your speed down, giving the curb a little bit more space if it looks like someone might cross, just the same you would in a vehicle, in a car, travelling through a busy town centre, high street. It doesn't have to be London. Using the argument that you're in biggest city, busiest city in the UK, just actually adds weight to slow down more. Be more careful. If it is essentially more likely someone's going to step out because you're in the capital, distracted tourists, people distracted by the phone, it's more of a reason to slow down. It's not less of a reason. Complaining about the attitude of the people in the area you live, buck the trend and show people how you should do it, rather than joining in. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem, is my motto, which is why I'm courteous to vehicles in the community I live. I will stop and let people pass if I'm unduly holding people up. Equally, I will take a prime position and keep myself safe, you know, but it's about sharing the road, about give and take. It's not all me. I have priority. And also, another thing that I find very, very interesting is when people complain about cyclist rights. Oh, you're undermining cyclist rights. No, I'm not. I know I've got rights. I don't need to bang on about it. I have those rights. I exercise those rights. By just getting on with it, I don't have to prove I've got those rights. I know I've got them. They're not going to change. Suddenly not going to get told to get off the road. No. As cyclists, we have the right to use the road. But as I always say, with rights come the responsibilities of using the road. And that is being, you know, avoiding incidents, allowing yourself to calm down if someone's behaving badly. But that chap there, he did just put his foot down. There's a car coming ahead. No major issue. I was just aware of where he was, and I have plenty of space to move left if I need to. Very responsible driver behind, waiting nicely, overtaking, yep, and turning. Okay, many cyclists would say pointless, must get in front. So what? I couldn't really care if someone overtook and then stopped 10 yards down the road. As long as they're past me safely, it doesn't matter. And if the road ahead is clear, I'm actually just going to take a prime position behind them. Especially if it's a dangerous driver, I'm not going to be putting myself in front of someone who's driving I've now identified as being below what I would say a good standard. Absolutely ridiculous. If you've got someone past you close, and to prove a point, you're willing to risk yourself by putting yourself bang smack in front of that car, especially when you turn around, look at them, point at a camera, you know, you're on YouTube, tap of the helmet cam. Absolutely ridiculous. You're now goading the driver behind, and having worked with people with mental health issues and knowing that a lot of people in the country have mental health issues, I'm not going to do that. That's just stupid. If you think someone's driving dangerously, especially if you've got a camera, take it to the police, report it. If you don't get anywhere with the police, go lobby your MP. It's the only way you'll get a change. Goading a driver and winding up isn't actually going to improve that driver's standards, probably wind him up, make matters worse, which is why the highway code says to go to the side of the road and calm down. I think some people maybe need to go to the side of the road, curl up in a ball and cry, really, from some of their attitudes. But yeah, if you've got a problem with someone, calm down. Some people are poorly educated. Leave it up to the authorities to deal with. And if you want to make the road safer, you know, start campaigning. You know, we had the Safe Pass initiative beginning of the year, I believe it was, or maybe end of last year. Great idea, but 1.5 meters is not legally binding. I think the emphasis should be on someone passing you safely. Because if someone passed me on this road, they were doing, say, 60 mile an hour on a 60 mile an hour limit road, while I'm climbing up this hill at just under 6 miles an hour. That's going to feel a lot more terrifying than someone passing a meter at 5 miles an hour. It's got to be proportionate. And again, that's why I ride with a mirror, do regular soda checks, just so that I am aware of what's happening behind, so that I can adjust my road position, speed, and worst case scenario, dive in the hedge. Which many years ago, before I started riding with a mirror, and one of the reasons I started riding with a mirror is I had a lorry with a trailer on, so effectively a double lorry that would take me through a very small village, and as they started passing, they started cutting in. I thought, wow, it's a bit close, and then the trailer started passing, at which point, fortunately, there was a drop curb and I was able to ride onto the pavement. I'd like to think that that wouldn't happen so much now, because now I ride with a mirror, I would have taken a much stronger position in the road, seeing that lorry approaching, to have really deterred that overtake. I'd have also been very aware of the trailer, so had they decided to overtake, could have easily stopped a lot sooner, because that was only luck. That was by a drop curb, and that I could get off, and sections of that road even had railings. So yeah, really bad driving by that lorry. So again, as you can see, I'm on some nice quiet roads. It does get used a little bit of a shortcut, missing out the towns and villages. And as such, people can use some excessive speeds along here. And also, people don't always expect to see cyclists out in the middle of nowhere. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of a prime position, car coming behind, van approaching. Now the van's passed, I'm going to move back. But that's sort of the textbook manoeuvre, really, of sharing the road that I'd like to try and promote, is that taking a good prime position when you need to deter someone from overtaking. You know, that guy might have waited absolutely fine, but going back to the earlier conversation of not knowing that person's mentality, not knowing where that person's going and why he needs to get there, can hugely affect people standing and driving. You know, people are in rush in this modern world. People are in a rush for all sorts of reasons, and you know, I want to make sure I give myself the best chance of them passing safely, and when they don't, I want to make sure I've got space on my left to move in. But to do that, I need to be aware of what's happening behind. So again, hence why I promote using a mirror, and hence why a lot of vloggers started referring to me as the mirror guy. So yeah, thanks mates, that's really kind, because I kind of quite like that handle, especially when you pair it to the lyrics of Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. Where he says he's going to make a change and he's starting with himself. So yeah, I mean, it's good advice really, isn't it? If you want the roads to be safer, consider your own reactions and actions and how you behave in traffic, how you react to traffic, and try and work out whether you're part of the solution or part of the problem. In towns and cities, just because you're improving congestion by or reducing congestion by cycling, doesn't automatically mean that you're a good cyclist. It's great you guys are, but doesn't mean, in fact, if anything, if you're not setting a good example and being positive about cycling, you're not going to encourage other people to cycle, are you? That's the other side of it. Making sure I indicate to the lorry as I come across there. For some reason on that junction, unless you indicate, quite often vehicles think you're going straight across, and I've had a few times where people have gone to pull out in front. But again, my reaction is just to put my hand up, they put their hand up, and everyone gets on with their day, don't they? And from that, I've learned it's best to indicate my that I want to turn right on that road. So I've now moved off of nice quiet country roads onto the main road to Bristol, the A37. Whoa, he's a bit close. Yeah, I don't think I was paying 100% attention to what was happening behind there. So I was narrating over the video, and as when I review the video, I'm pretty sure it's going to show that car actually passed a bit closer than I like. Again, it's another reason to choose your routes wisely. And I'm descending down this hill just under 30 miles an hour. Right, I'm going to hit a section in a minute after I drop down the next bit of hill. I'm actually going to turn off to go down through town where the speed limits are lower and it's less used, just so I can avoid the next little section of this main road where my speed's going to be down, I don't know, 12 miles an hour, maybe a bit less, and it's a narrow road up over there, lots of lorries, so I take a nice little scenic turn down through town in a sec. I'm going to start indicating, car behind's indicating, it's going to take me way down through town. I'm going to cut across at the bottom across to the main road. I'll actually literally cross it along a nice little lane, past where I used to live, at the top, and then I'm at the top of the hill, away from all the traffic. Distance wise, don't know, a couple of attempts extra on my journey, which again, as someone who enjoys cycling, it's nothing, and I'd rather spend this couple of miles or whatever it is, mile and a half, cycling this direction where it's more enjoyable than riding on a bit of road. It's not the greatest for me. I used to use it, and then I had so many people trying to squeeze past regardless of taking prime, and people almost having head on with lorries coming the other way because I was taking prime, and for their safety, for my safety, for everybody's safety, I actually use this route now. Much more enjoyable. Not to say this route doesn't have its dangers. Using the roads is dangerous, you know, regardless. Just going to slow up, conscious of the car in front, indicating the turn, just going to stay left a bit. Yep, not turning, carry on pedaling. Right, lorry ahead, just going to slow down, change down just in case as I get near, just in case someone's walking out. Plenty of space around it, indicator turn off. Conscious of that car. So there's one car turning, one car pulling up on the pavement. Again, just reducing my speed, making sure nobody's going to turn in front of me, swing out in front of me. Just not going to make this time, so I'm going to take prime down here. It's too narrow to overtake. A bit of a sprint up the hill. Taking prime, there's no space to overtake, but equally, as I clear the top, I'm going to move left. Oh, and I signal that guy to stop. So I signaled for that guy to stop, but he carried on. There's the blue car coming to sight. And again, as soon as I seen the blue car, slowed, moved over, gave space. Nobody got angry. Everybody carried on. So we go, just crossing main A37, taking a nice little quiet lane. That way I can totally avoid any traffic, well, most traffic. Given the narrowness on here, it's impossible someone overtake, and the speed's going to be uber slow. Passing that house on the left where I used to live, built that driveway myself. Probably about 8 years ago, and it's still looking good. Surprising what you can do when you've got 6 weeks off with a hernia. Now how much more enjoyable that is than riding on the main road. So there you pretty much have it. Nice, enjoyable cycle ride. Happy days.